All right, class. So we have the first diagram right here, and as you can see, we're gonna have a couple of them, right? So here, right, we're gonna have the and again it's locked, so I can unlock it. Right, so double click there. And this is gonna be our volume B, and we can actually maybe add these right here so that it's a little more I guess legible. A, B, and I can maybe even select all of this, control copy, bring it all of it over here, control V, paste as in Victor, BC, right? And then this is D, right? And then I'll call this full volume, and I'll make more sense in a little bit. And as we can see right here, we've gone through the exercise of realizing our first diagram in Illustrator, but we still need to create the diagrams or set ourselves up for a diagram in Rhino. And I think the first one's pretty straightforward. Again, it just depends on your particular interest in design and explorations. You guys are doing a really awesome job at coming up with some really awesome forms. It is just so cool. And I like to maybe illustrate one more so that, again, if it helps you, maybe one that has more steps, just kind of like go over this sequence one more time. And on this one, for example, excuse me, I'm doing notch, shear, and taper. All right, so actually I can edit that right here. Notch, shear, and taper. All right, so I'm actually gonna copy that. Come over here. Because again, as you will see from the titles over here, notice that that's 2, but that's his 3 right here. And as such, the number of diagrams actually increases, right? So we're actually going to have one more diagram in this sequence between here and here. Of course, we're going to start with the base volume, and we're going to end up with some form. But in between, we're actually going to have 3 operations rather than 2 that we have right here, which are this one and this one over here. And I'll take you to this one that I did over here, which is my notch, shear, and taper. So as we learned, the first thing is to make a copy right away. I have grid snap on, which is good. I'm going to bring this over here. I did, I think, a split face. I'm going to turn off grid snap. I'm going to select that as my face. And I'm going to snap from there to there perpendicular. Enter. I'm going to turn off its ISO curves. I'm going to select that edge. Actually, I select that. Actually, I'm going to select this one over here, this face, and I'm going to drag it inwards. And wait a second. One more time, Control Shift, select face, click Control, drag. And then, so that I can create my notch. So I can create my notch by selecting this edge right here, Control Shift, select that edge right here. And I can further notch it over here as such. But something else that I can do, I can show you right here, is I can select this edge right here, and I can type move so that it snaps to this point right here. And it creates sort of a similar result. And I can further adjust as needed. Control Shift, select, and bring this right here if I wanted to, say, for example. Okay. And then I'm going to copy that and snap to this point over here. And then shear. Let's see, where did I do shear over here? Ah, good one. Okay, so let's take a look at this one because I think it's going to help some of you guys, because if I select this edge right here and I do my shear this way like that, notice that we get these deformation that again, it may or may not be a good or bad, but see, that's not good. That's really odd. That corner that we're getting over here. Oops. This corner that we're getting over here. Plus, more importantly, what we have learned since you guys already fabricated a study model is that it doesn't lend itself well, at least for the moment, with the unfolding action that we're doing. So I'm gonna show you guys what we can do in order to avoid some of that deformation. So I'm gonna undo that right here. We can actually do a split face one more time. Select that face and actually split it from here. Enter. Then Control Shift select this edge right here, and then I can shear that end like that. But I gotta first make sure that I, you know, split that face on that end right there, and that only acts on this form right there. Okay, so I have two operations. I need one more, so I can type copy from the last one. I'm gonna have my grid snap on. What's happening? Copy. Oh, ortho is on. Okay, turn that off. Maybe copy this one over here. And I need my third action, which is taper. And I was illustrating two kinds of tapers that I'll share with you guys. So the first one, I was doing from the bottom. So selecting Control Shift, select that face, hold Shift, and actually turn off Grid Snap. And I was doing sort of like this tapering, which is just fine. But then I was thought like, well, my class is doing some pretty awesome forms, so what else could I do? And I was like, well, what if I was to split this face? Split face. Right, what if I was to split all of these faces around, right, and actually I taper from there? I think that would give me a better, a more interesting form. So I'm gonna snap to the midpoint right there, split right there, repeat the action. And go all around. Wait, but I would make sure that they intersect. And then I can Control Shift select each of these edges that we have generated from our split, hold Shift and turn off Grid Snap and taper from there. Bam. Okay. And I'm realizing that it's giving me that curvature. Did it give it to me over here? Oops. It might have. Just didn't realize it. Yeah, I just didn't realize. But that's okay. That one at least is not that drastic. If I really wanted to, there's some ways that I can actually maybe reshape that. Just as an exercise, show you that. Can maybe copy this over here, and I'm seeing that it actually also happened right here in the bottom, I think. And what we can do in those cases, it's I can actually explode this right here, and I can get rid of these surfaces that are, well, actually, let's start with one. I can start with delete those that are giving me kind of like a hard time, and I can actually start tessellating. I guess that would be the term. With my surface from 3 or 4 points. So I can maybe start kind of bringing those right here. Except that, let me get on the right layer. I can start kind of like Well, yeah, tessellating, simplifying these forms. Oops. Right, and it helps if I turn off the ISO curves right here. Right, so I create those right there, which they're very interesting on their own, I must say. And then I can select this face right here, delete it, and here, for example, I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if that will work. So I'll do a 4-corner, 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, and then I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is kind of the split action that I was showing you guys earlier today. That should be a really cool result. So before we move on though, don't forget what you want to do is select all of this because it's all exploded, right? So we want to join it, merge all coplanar faces, and then now it's um, it's it's a continuous model like that. All right, so I would encourage you to work with geometries that have a better defined edge, such as the one on the left rather than this one over here. That being said though, I mean, either can work. So I'm gonna move on. So I'm gonna bring this guy over out here so that I can work with this one over here. Now we'll do our sequence of operations in preparation for our diagrams. So I'm going to get into my wireframe layer. So let's go over this one more time. So extract wireframe, select this object, enter, type move, enter. I can bring this from there to there. We have our process. We repeat this, extract wireframe, select the next object, enter, type move from this corner to this corner now, and we have our next sequence. And then I'm going to work with the bottom left one. I'm going to type extract wireframe from this guy right here and type move from here to here. And again, it's giving us the sequence, right? The sequence in changes, all right? And then, so again, for example, this one, and that's where you have more space. You can explore, but at the end, you only need the ones that the number that we have right here, in this case 3. So I can maybe move this out of the way if I wanted to. And then what was the last step? Well, the last step was to do our diagram. So I'm gonna give myself maybe more space over here. Bring this one's over here and bring this one over here. So we need our arrows, right? We need our arrows. So, or at least the lines for our arrows. So I'm going to go into my arrows layer. I'm going to type a line, and I can do a line from, let's say, that midpoint. I'm going to turn off grid snap, hold shift, and maybe now an arrow that is going to allow me to show that I'm pinching inwards. I'm sorry, notching inwards, notch. So I have my arrow there, and then here we're doing our shear, which is the pushing down. So I'm gonna do that line right here, and again I can go to my multi-view right here. I can actually even copy, right, for simplicities, and actually to help me keep these standard. I can copy that one from this one over here because now I'm gonna pinch down or shear down. And then my taper, notice again that it's all around. I can bring this one's right here. I don't know how this is going to work though. So I can copy this one's over here, these 4. And I'm going to select from here to here. Although I'm pretty sure there's going to be some. I guess it works. guess it works. But we can always adjust them if we need to, right? For example, this bottom one, I'm not really sure if actually it's going to be even noticeable from our isometric view. I can actually set it up so that we can see. Right? It kind of is actually. So I can select it and then maybe move it up or down a little bit, right? So that I can, um, you know, but maybe the arrowhead doesn't come through like this one over here, right? But I can actually show that taper action. And then we would just repeat the steps so that we can generate our 2D drawings using our make 2D command, extracting them so that we can generate our diagrams and follow the same steps, except that you're going to have one more step here and one more step for I think the final one, or number 4, which is 4 operations. And that's basically what that means, right? I mean, so we have 2 operations, 3 operations, and then we go back to 2, but now it's a different form. Go back to 3, but it's a different form, or I guess base volume, I should say. And then the same base volume that the previous one, except that it's 4 operations now. So that could be, it could be all 4: shear, notch, taper, pinch. It could maybe be shear, shear, notch, taper, or taper, shear, notch, taper again. It'd be quite a bit of selections. Okay. And I think the last part is to work with this inscribe and carve. So I think it's a good place for us to pause, and don't forget to save. We'll do that. Save over here. Wow. Save over here. And I'll see you on the next one.